Great example of what it takes to, start out as a young guy and continue to develop, continue to strive, and he's put himself in position now to lead this team, to lead this group. So he's very deserving of that captainship.
I can remember talking to you 2 years ago before he had established himself as a starter. And I think you mentioned something about it. Yeah, it was hard for him to kind of find the motivation when he realized that the playing time wasn't going to come during his sophomore year.
Right.
So after that, what happened to him? I mean, the carrot was out there and he went for it.
I think that every young man that comes into this program, and probably many programs, have a desire to play early and think that, they're all Americans coming out of high school, and it takes them a while to kind of grasp, things are different at this level. So Bennett went through his transition just like everyone else, and I think that what he realized was that, I just kept telling him that, hey, I mean, you're very talented, you're a smart player. He was transitioning from offense to defense, so he had some fundamentals and things like that he had to work on and get better at, and he took it to heart. I think that he saw, the opportunities that Gary Gray, Robert Blanton, Darren Walls, all those guys that were before him, what hard work and listening and paying attention and being detailed, in the process could do for you. And, he's taken it and ran with it, and he's been awesome. He's worked on his game in every aspect, and he's put himself, to the point to where, he deserves to be this captain.
How much confidence do you have in your corners today compared to a year ago at this time?
I'll tell you, it's a lot more comforting for me, knowing that I've got, some guys that've got some experience. Last year was kind of unknown. I had two guys that were starting for the first time. One was a true freshman. You just never know how they're going to react, once they hit that field for the first time. But, now they've got 13 games under their belt, quality games under their belt. And then we've got Lowe back, who's also got some experience and adds to that position. So I think that, it should be very exciting, for that position group this year.
Where's Kavari's game now, and how has he improved? I mean, probably in a lot of ways compared to a year ago.
Absolutely. When we had Kavari last year, he really didn't know much about defense. He had been an offensive player for most of his career. So we did a lot of things as a staff to take some pressure off for him with some of our coverages and things like that early on in the season. And the more that we felt that he was confident and understood our package a little bit better towards the back half of the season, we started giving him more, and he showed that he can handle it. And now, watching him come into this camp, it's like he's been playing for 3 or 4 years. I mean, his understanding of our package is better, but then just his confidence and his ability. I think that when he first came over there, he wasn't sure if he could be a top-level corner or not. And I just kept telling him, listen, I mean, you got all the tools. I've seen it before, and I just kept saying that to him, and he kept believing it, and now he's taking it to heart. And you can't tell him that he's not the best one in America. And it's that fine line, but you want him to think that way. You don't want him to be overconfident, but you want him to think that when they walk out on that field, okay, he's going to be tough to handle. So he's improved night and day in every aspect of his game, and it's only going to get better. I mean, he's not near at the level of what he's going to be.
And what has Cole Luke done to put himself in the nickel spot, and how does he compare to Kavari as a true freshman at this time?
From a mindset and an understanding and just being a savvy football player, I don't know if I've had a player like Cole, because that's something that's very uncommon for a freshman to come in and really be able to grasp, concepts and adjust so quickly to what defenses are doing, especially in our system. But he came in, he's got a great understanding. Obviously his fundamentals aren't where they will be, but his knowledge of the game and maybe that's part in having an uncle that played a long time in the NFL, and Darren Woodson. So he's always been around the game. So he's got some knowledge that a lot of kids that come in as 18-year-olds don't have. So he's put himself in position, just by understanding the game and being savvy. Those things that you can't teach. He's got a great feel for the game, and all the other stuff will come through.
Last year at this time, you talked about Lowood and how you were thinking he was one of the better players on the defense, and that was a big surprise at media day last year. And obviously, without that injury, he's probably a well-established guy in the starting lineup at this point. How has he dealt with having to fight past guys that have the experience and kind of get himself into that rotation?
He's been awesome. Lowe's been a team player. I think that he's working on getting back to his level right now. So it'll be a minute, but he's been nothing but the best. He comes and works, and by no means is he giving up his position. He has a desire to be a #1 corner, for Notre Dame, and he's going to fight and battle every day. Now it's going to be hard, because of what Kavari's proven and what Bennett's proven. But for me, that competition is going to make everybody better. And what it does is it builds your depth. So now you feel really good about those top three corners, and then you throw some of those young guys in that are competing and fighting for spots, be it nickel, be it dime, be it, who's the third corner in the game. That type of stuff is awesome to see that.
You said he's still got a little bit to go. How close to being full speed or 100%, however you want to say it, is level?
I think he's 100%, just from being medically cleared, so I can't speak on that, but he's, the thing that he's got to do is trust it in his mind. You can just see some glimpses of at times, where there will be no hesitation, where there may be a little hesitation. So, but slowly but surely, the more we practice, the more he's used to getting in and out of his transitions and breaks and things like that. You can see the confidence, building and trusting on that injury that he had from last year.
Why do you think this will be a collectively better defense? Brian talked about, he thought the sum of the parts will be better this year than last year. Why do you say that?
From my perspective, I think that when you lose a guy like Manti and Kerry, guys that were so dominant, guys that were so vocal, you have no other choice. But we don't have that guy right now. We don't have that superstar, so to speak. That vocal leader. So we've got a lot of guys that have been around us as coaches that have been in our system. A lot of guys that have played great football for us. A lot of guys that have played